Picture this. You're sipping your morning coffee on a stone terrace overlooking misty valleys that stretch to the horizon, your monthly living expenses barely reaching $300, and the nearest tourist is probably 1,000 miles away. Sound impossible? Well, I've spent the last 18 months discovering mountain villages so remote and affordable that most people don't even know they exist. And in 2026, these hidden gems might just be your ticket to the life you've always dreamed of living. What if I told you there are places on this planet where a 3-bedroom stone house costs less than your monthly rent, where fresh mountain spring water flows directly to your door, and where the night sky is so clear you can see galaxies with your naked eye? Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 7 secret mountain villages where you can live like royalty on a budget that would barely cover groceries in most Western cities. But here's the catch, and why I'm sharing this now. These places won't stay secret forever. Economic pressures, digital nomad movements, and climate concerns are already starting to shift migration patterns. The smart money is getting in early, before the rest of the world catches on. Let me start with something that will blow your mind. In the mountains of northern Albania, there's a village called Theth that sits at 4,500 feet elevation. The air is so pure here that locals regularly live past 90, and I'm talking about people who've never seen the inside of a gym. You can rent a traditional stone house here for €60 a month. That's roughly $65 for an entire house, with views that would cost you millions anywhere else in the world. The village has about 400 residents, mostly elderly shepherds who've been working these mountains for generations. They grow their own vegetables, raise their own livestock, and operate on what's essentially a gift economy among neighbors. When winter comes, the village gets snowed in for months, creating this incredible sense of community that's completely vanished from modern life. Now, before you start packing your bags, let me give you the real picture. Living in Theth isn't for everyone. The nearest hospital is a 2-hour drive down winding mountain roads. Internet comes and goes, electricity can be spotty, and if you don't speak Albanian, communication gets interesting fast. But for the right person, someone looking to disconnect from the chaos of modern life while reconnecting with something more fundamental, this place offers an opportunity that's becoming extinct everywhere else. Here's what makes this even more compelling. The Albanian government is actively encouraging foreign investment in rural areas. They're offering residency permits to anyone who can prove they have modest savings, and the tax benefits are incredible. Personal income under about $12,000 a year is completely tax-free. But let's move to something a bit more developed. High in the Carpathian Mountains of Romania sits Bran Village, not to be confused with the touristy castle area. This is authentic Transylvania, where farming communities have existed unchanged for centuries. Houses here rent for between $80 and $120 monthly, and you're looking at some of the most dramatic mountain scenery in Europe. The fascinating thing about Romanian mountain villages is how they've preserved medieval agricultural techniques alongside modern conveniences. You'll find farmers using ox-drawn plows in fields next to houses with satellite internet. It's like living in a time portal where you get the best of both worlds. Food costs in these Romanian villages are almost negligible if you're willing to adapt to local eating habits. Fresh bread from village bakeries costs about 30 cents a loaf. Milk straight from local farms runs maybe 50 cents a liter. Seasonal vegetables from farmers who know your name cost less than what you'd pay for a single apple in Manhattan. The Romanian government has also simplified residency requirements for EU citizens, and even Americans can obtain long-term visas relatively easily if they can demonstrate modest financial resources. We're talking about showing bank statements with maybe $5,000, not the massive investment requirements of traditional immigration programs. Now let me take you somewhere completely different. In the Atlas Mountains of Morocco, there are Berber villages that have existed for over 1,000 years, built into cliff sides like ancient fortresses. These communities operate on traditional principles where land ownership is communal and newcomers are welcomed if they contribute to village life. Village elders in places like Imlil will offer foreigners small stone houses in exchange for teaching English to local children or helping with sustainable development projects. Your housing becomes free, your meals are often shared communally, and your monthly expenses might total less than $200 if you live like locals do. What's incredible about these Moroccan mountain communities is how they've adapted traditional architecture for modern comfort. Houses built into cliffs naturally regulate temperature, staying cool in summer heat and warm during cold mountain nights. Solar panels are becoming common, providing reliable electricity, and many villages now have surprisingly good internet connectivity thanks to government infrastructure projects. The social aspect of life in Berber villages is something that simply doesn't exist in modern Western society. Decisions are made collectively, problems are solved communally, and there's this underlying assumption that individual success and community success are the same thing. For people burned out on competitive urban living, this shift in perspective can be life-changing. But perhaps the most intriguing opportunity exists in the mountain regions of Georgia, the country nestled between Europe and Asia. Villages like Ushguli, which sits at over 7,000 feet elevation, offer some of the most affordable living costs on the planet, combined with landscapes that look like they belong in fantasy movies. Georgia's visa policies are incredibly foreigner-friendly. Citizens from most Western countries can stay up to a year without any visa at all, and obtaining residency status requires minimal bureaucracy. The government is actively courting foreign residents as part of an economic development strategy, offering tax incentives that make your money stretch even further. In Georgian mountain villages, you can rent traditional tower houses for $40 to $60 monthly. These aren't primitive structures, we're talking about stone buildings that have stood for centuries, many recently renovated with modern plumbing and heating systems. The villages themselves are like open-air museums, with UNESCO World Heritage status, protecting their architectural integrity. Food culture in Georgian mountains is extraordinary and incredibly affordable. Village markets sell fresh khachapuri, traditional cheese-filled bread, for less than $1. Local wines produced by families using techniques passed down through generations cost maybe $3 for bottles that would sell for $30 anywhere else. Here's what makes Georgian mountain living particularly appealing for budget-conscious individuals: the healthcare system. Georgia has been investing heavily in rural healthcare infrastructure, and mountain villages now have access to telemedicine services connecting them to specialists in major cities. Basic medical care is either free or incredibly inexpensive, even for foreign residents. The internet connectivity in these Georgian villages is often surprisingly good, thanks to government initiatives to bring high-speed broadband to rural areas. This means remote work is absolutely possible, turning these mountain retreats into potentially profitable bases for digital careers. Now, I need to address something important: cultural adaptation. Moving to any of these mountain villages requires genuine respect for local customs and willingness to integrate into existing communities. These aren't places where you can maintain Western lifestyle expectations while simply paying less money. Success depends on embracing different ways of living, learning local languages, and contributing meaningfully to village life. Climate considerations are also crucial. These mountain villages experience real winters, often with significant snowfall and temperatures well below freezing. If you're coming from tropical or temperate climates, this adjustment can be more challenging than anticipated. However, proper preparation and quality winter clothing make these conditions not just manageable, but actually enjoyable for many people. Economic sustainability in mountain villages often requires creativity. While living costs are incredibly low, income opportunities can be limited unless you're working remotely or have savings to support yourself. Some residents supplement their resources by teaching languages, offering homestays to occasional visitors, or developing small agricultural projects that serve local markets. The psychological benefits of mountain village living are substantial, but often underestimated. The combination of clean air, physical activity from navigating mountainous terrain, strong community connections, and distance from urban stressors creates mental health improvements that many residents describe as transformative. As we move into 2026, global economic pressures are making these affordable mountain havens increasingly attractive to people seeking alternatives to expensive urban living. However, this same trend threatens to change the character of these communities. Getting established now before widespread discovery occurs offers opportunities that may not exist in just a few years. If you're seriously considering this lifestyle change, start by visiting these areas during different seasons to understand what you're signing up for. Connect with existing foreign residents through online communities to get realistic perspectives on daily life challenges and rewards. The secret mountain villages I've shared today represent more than just affordable living options. They offer chances to participate in ways of life that have sustained human communities for generations, providing models for sustainable living that might become increasingly valuable as global challenges intensify. Whether you choose Albanian peaks, Romanian valleys, Moroccan cliffs, or Georgian highlands, you're not just finding cheaper rent. You're discovering communities where human connections matter more than accumulating possessions, where daily rhythms follow natural cycles rather than artificial schedules, and where your impact on the world becomes visible and meaningful in ways that urban living rarely allows. These opportunities exist right now, waiting for people bold enough to embrace them.